I want to say something before starting because the title says upgrades can be painful, but which is right, to be honest. But I wanted to also provide some context about what we are going to talk today. So we are going to talk about how artificial intelligence can help humans to improve that grades, or maybe we have to choose another approaches. So let's go into the presentation. So I always like to start with a photo to illustrate what we are going to do or what I am going to explain today. So we are making efforts in our team we started last milestone, but special efforts to make the database upgrade better, smoother, so we can try to improve your experience with the database upgrade. That's why I want to show, I don't know if it's going to be so relaxing, but we hope we can improve a bit this experience, right? So let's start with what we did. We did an analysis about what are the main pain points for a database upgrade, and we have 4 cases or 4 points that are really painful for the process. So the first one is more reactive or more a later point, but it's difficult for us to reproduce and diagnose upgrade issues. I will explain why later. Also, we get a lot of databases. The data is unexpected because you work with your product for years, and at the end you generate a database that is difficult to prevent issues for us. Also, the post-upgrade problems, when you start up the server after the upgrade and you get issues, is really hard because you have to do everything again, and also the documentation, okay? So let's start with explaining how we work in the support side, or how we can try to speed up the resolution process. This is a reactive case, but we want to improve it first. We have started already with this point. And the upgrades are really difficult to reproduce because maybe a bug was introduced, someone added some data in the product, maybe 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, and that caused an inconsistency, and that was not a problem for the portal, but at the end caused a big issue during the upgrade. So that's why it's difficult for us to find solutions for the upgrade problems. So we are going to work, or we are still currently working on finding ways to improve this process. So we are preparing a solution, AI solution for categorizing tickets better. So we assign the ticket to the right team, to the right person right away. We don't have to wait, and in that case, we are going to save days. We are also generating a new upgrade report with more information for you and for support to analyze the problems. And we are going to create a solution network that is going to connect the same solution with the different problems, because that's the point of, in some cases, the same solution applies to 2 different cases. So we're going to start with that. So here we say that we want to apply the artificial intelligence and how we can connect with us, with our work, daily work. So let's try, we have tried to categorize these tickets, the upgrade tickets better, and we had to decide between 2 approaches. Barbara and Ruth were talking yesterday about these approaches, and we also took them into account today. So we have 2 options for our use case, fine-tuning the model, which is more, maybe it's better for us when you need a specific, you need to specialize the model with something, and prompt engineering, which was better for our use case, because we just need to guide the model. The model is clever, so we need to just guide the model. So we choose that because of different reasons. We are using Gemini 1.5 Pro. In Gemini 1.5, the context window is really large. It's 2 million tokens. That's a lot for most of the cases. So it's more than enough for our case. Just for you to know, we are generating a prompt with all the context and all the information with 300,000 tokens. So it's enough for our use case. It's good for prototyping because you can create a proof of concept really quick. Not quick, I mean weeks, but takes time and requires human work. That's a good point. You cannot delegate this to a framework or something to get the data. You have to analyze the data. We will see later. And also, you can move to the fine-tuning approach when you need it, because this is like a first step. So you prepare something, you realize that it's good, and then you want to expand that, you can move to the other approach. And also the price, which is important, at least for now. I don't know what Google will do in the future, but at least for now, is really cheap. It's just every call is 10 cents or something like that, so it's affordable. So we started with, in the first iteration, we provided, I mean, I am not an expert, or we are not an expert in artificial intelligence, so we started, we were working with our department, which is an expert on this, but we started with some instructions and large examples, and that was a bad idea, because we are not fine-tuning the model. I mean, we don't have to provide a lot of examples. We have to, it's like a student that knows a lot about different things, or is in the career, in the degree, but you need to just guide with some information for your use case. So you don't have to provide example, you have to provide the theory. So the model can develop new ideas. You provide examples, we will see later that connects examples with are not related, and you get bad results. So theory, particularities, some particularities about the teams, what are the packages or the classes that I think handle, the tables, and also a few short examples. I think in the beginning we delivered like 100 examples, and was much worse than using 7 examples and theory. So you can know why it's better. So this is we got a ticket, so the customer super engineer received a ticket. This is an example about using this framework. And it's about a concurrent exception, a multi-threading exception in a trade process. The multi-threading logic is handled by the core infra team. So we use the first iteration, the instructions plus the examples, and the model assign the ticket to core infra, because this is the important thing. The migration is a common pattern in Service Builder. That's good, but not too realistic, because the migration is part of everything. All the components do migration, so Service Builder is more important in generating tables, but why assign this ticket for that? So when we execute the model with all the theory, with those key examples, we get a much better solution. So I mean, a much better answer. So assign the ticket to database infrastructure, detected that the agreed process you see in the reasoning was related to page management, but didn't assign the ticket to page management because the exception was thrown in a class that is handled by us, by database infrastructure team. So it's a more complete answer, more clever. So that's what we need for the model. So what we did to move from the first answer to the second answer. The model at the beginning was too creative. I don't want the model to be creative. If you are maybe it's difficult to compare, but if you're a doctor and you have to provide an assessment or analysis about someone that is ill, you cannot be creative. You have to be accurate, and if you don't know it, say that maybe you need more tests, but we cannot make up things. So that's what we were experiencing from the model. So we have to, it's also really confident. So even when doesn't have context, doesn't have an idea about what's happening, provide an answer. We didn't want that. And make connection based on words. So he took a word from one ticket for our input and saw that that word or that sentence was in another ticket. So he thought that both are the same thing. It's like that's more like a search engine, so it's not a good solution. So how we fix this? So we're providing more theory, more information about the analysis priorities. You have to check the log first. You have to go to the class, verify what's the package, the tables involved, how also we have to train the model to analyze logs. The model knows how to analyze logs, but not at-grade logs that are different. So you have to train the model, or at least provide some guidance. We remove a lot of relevant information from the samples and also provide complete team responsibility. We have to tell them, okay, this team does the other with these boundaries, and the model started to be prepared. So this is a second example. It's also was interesting for me. We have an issue in an upgrade. Maybe you experienced something like that before, where, because it's quite common, we got some inconsistencies because DDM structure failed for a journal upgrade process. So the model in the first iterations assigned the ticket to content management, and because DDM orphan data, there were orphan data in DDM, and the upgrade relates to journal articles. So, okay, it's not bad, but at the end, when we trained the model properly, we got something that we didn't expect. So it answered that it's not an upgrade ticket. That's what we want, to be realistic, to be sure when something, where are the limits or the boundaries between every case. And the answer is brilliant, it's really good. The upgrade process is failing because of the orphan data, but the ticket is not about fixing the upgrade process itself. It's true, it's not an upgrade ticket. You have to fix something that was before in the database. So we finally ended with a really good solution. So in the first iteration was unable to deploy, to develop new ideas. It's just taking words from examples and creating something, but you have to get the model to create ideas, to develop new ideas. So we fixed that with the theory, as I said, reduce key examples, and also explaining what's an upgrade ticket, and asking the model to provide information about otherwise. When something is not an upgrade, provide a clear explanation. This is really good to debug the model, so you know what is happening and how it thought. So it's really important. So this is we learned some lessons, and the first one is related to, it's a famous sentence from Gladiator. So what we document properly in life echoes in eternity. And this is the key. I mean, when you create a Git commit and you provide information with the commit, that information is going to be used for the AI in the future. So when you answer in a ticket, if you answer properly, it's going to be wonderful for the AI in the future. At the end, the AI is going to collect all that information to create good models. So we have to start working on the documentation. I mean, in our answers, in Slack, in Git, in Jira, all the tools you have for your tickets. And to show this, I want to mention an example from Balázs. I think Balázs was here before. He's from Hungary. This is gold for the AI, because he provided a concise but complete answer to analyze a ticket. He provided where was the problem with some. This is part of the upgrade report that we will see later, that some upgrade process took a lot of time. He related that with the tables in the database, and at the end asked the team involved to work on this. This is, as you see, nothing, you cannot say more with less words. It's really interesting, and this is incredible for having these comments is incredible for the AI. So the second lesson is one incorrect piece of information can jeopardize the whole project. You cannot, at least for this prompt engineering, you cannot deliver all the examples and sit waiting waiting for the AI to do everything. You have to do manual work. At the end, we have AI, we have a lot of frameworks, but you have to do manual work. Analyze the content and be sure that it's relevant. It's only provide the key information, not the whole example. It's much easier to do that, but it's not working. And the latest one is theory and generic system instructions are key. When I say generic, it's because I don't want to tell the model, okay, if you find A, you have to answer B. If you find B, you have to answer C. That's incorrect, because at the end you have to maintain the context and the information. And for this case, prompt engineering, you have to be generic. Okay, you have to let the model to develop new ideas with the theory. So yeah, we finished with that project. We are going to use it, and also we already finished, and it will be available in the next release. The new Adroit report is enabled by default. It's generated in the report directory in your application server when you execute an Adroit, and we divided the file we divided the report into files. The first one is the Array report provides a quick overview just to be sure what happened, facilitates the issue reproduction, provides some data to reproduce a problem, to send it to support, or you are in the community, it will help you to understand what happened. And also, and we added new things like the GVM configuration, the Liferay configuration, so you don't have to gather all the information from the server. You have everything in the report. And the second file we created, which is maybe the more interesting one, is the Adroit diagnostic. It's a file with all the information relevant to diagnose the problem. So you have the error messages, the failed SQL statements, the longest Adroit processes, the longest SQL statements, and the warning messages. For the SQL, is really good because you can discover which data or to which table you have to prepare or to analyze to solve the problems, and we have some options to configure this, but that's really useful for you and also for us. Okay, so you have talked about the first point about the improving how we diagnose Adroit issues, but now we have in the second part the unexpected data we get. So I wanted to show you this picture because it's like we feel when we try to test all the cases, right? It's incredible, a lot of things to cover. And just to show an example, or to show some figures, we handle or maintain 3 different kind of infrastructures, on-premise, PaaS, SaaS. We support direct upgrades from 6 all major versions. When I joined Liferay 13 years ago, we were delivering 6.2, but we still support direct upgrades from 6.1. So for me, it's too much, to be honest. We have to handle a lot of things. And also 7 types of databases, plugins, OCI modules, service builder, objects, classic extension points, low code, fragments, templates, a lot of things. I think we want to help you guys to do the migration because we keep plugins while we have OCI modules, but at the end, it's a lot of things to handle, okay? Also, multiple access points to create data, Java services, headless, batch engine, and the user interface. So with this, we get really different, diverse data to be upgraded. So imagine to develop an Adroit that covers everything. It's difficult to prevent that. So we are starting to work in a project with artificial intelligence to help us to be sure that we cover everything in our code. We are going to develop a framework that tolerates, maybe this is the most important point here, tolerates non-critical inconsistencies during an Adroit process, because why we need to fail if an inconsistency was before there and everything was working? That's what we are doing now. It doesn't make sense. But it's difficult to create that framework because we have to cover SQL, services, a lot of things, but we have to do it because it's not fair to stop an Adroit just because of an inconsistency that is not relevant for you guys. So we have to reduce the number of versions on the number of direct Adroit paths. So I am going to suggest Brian and Marco, I hope they agree with that, to remove the direct upgrade from 6.1 and 6.2 I hope. I mean, that doesn't mean that you cannot not upgrade. I mean, you have to stop in 7.4 and then go to the latest one in 2 steps. So, but for us to have more quality in the upgrade process, we have to do that. And so let's try. And the release team, I don't know if Renato is here, but they are working with automation of executing great processes in SAS. We have a lot of data there. Why we don't use more? We are using that, but we need to use it more to get more feedback from SAS. So we started this project with AI for the code, the upgrade code, and we use prompt engineering too. We started with that, providing system instruction, theory. What we did was to connect Jira to get all the upgrade tickets, all the tickets ID for the bugs in upgrades. With that information, we went to GitHub or to Git to get the diff for all those modifications related to those tickets, and because that's the valuable information, those fixes in the upgrade code that we need to use to learn from the past. And also database tables information. And this was not enough. We finally have to add a lot of classes from the upgrade framework because the model needs more context. So this is an example about, let me drink a bit of water, sorry. So this is a small piece of an upgrade process. We do a simple query and a delete, but you can see two problems here. The first one, we are using the service util class. The service util, we cannot use the util because they are static. We have to use the OCI, so the module waits for the class to be ready. Okay, so this is the first problem, and the second is that one. I don't know you detect what's the problem. Basically, this doesn't work very well in Postgres. Not in clause with subqueries using in an update or delete is not working. The performance is really bad in Postgres, so we have to use exist, not exist. So okay, so we have two issues. We provide the examples to the model for those cases, and let's see what we get. We get this class. We get a lot of cases. We try a lot of times. We got a mix of cases, but this is maybe the latest one. And okay, the model was understood about the services, provided a reference to take the reference from the OCI, but didn't do anything. But in some cases did it before, but not the others, so it was quite difficult to understand. And this is what I don't understand. The model returned, created a variable there that we are not using in the upgrade process. So why do you do that, right? I mean, I guess you have worked with this with maybe Copilot or things like that, and you get things like this case. So it was weird. So our conclusions about using AI for code is that Liferay needs a lot of rules, has a lot of specific rules, and you cannot use prompt engineering for this use case because you have to fine-tune in the model. You have to make the model expert in Liferay. You need more examples, and the context is limited. So we have discarded prompt engineering for this case. It's not giving us good results. Probably you are experiencing something similar, and maybe we have to break that barrier regarding fine-tuning because it's not easy, but we have to do it because also for all the rest of the classes in Liferay. So you have to specialize the model, and we need a model that continuously learn about the new changes in Liferay. So this is this is a guy that executed an upgrade process and got an issue after started up the server, a post-upgrade issue. So this is our face. It's quite disappointed. And yeah, we have to try to address these issues, these problems, because are terrible. You have to roll back everything to the first stage. You have to repeat everything, and yeah, so we have to work on that. We already worked on that before, but we have to. Next year is our goal. Invest time on trying to refine our testing databases to have more complete data it's difficult because you have to create data in different versions. We have frameworks for creating data, but you have to backport the code, and you have to create a small set of data, but complete. So when you upgrade that database, you get you test everything. Okay. We are talking to Renato also, the release team, to execute this with every new release. So we have to be sure that everything is working and execute all the functional testing and to detect this in more cases. And also we got some issues lately regarding configuration, changing the configurations. We have clear specific rules for code to don't deliver breaking changes or document breaking changes, but we have to do also the same for configuration. It's not fair for you guys that you have a configuration, we change that to the value of the configuration, and you get an issue for that. So we have to work on that. We got an issue in the last release, and it's something we have to improve. Yeah, to end or to conclude with the presentation, I want to talk about the documentation really quick. I mean, you go to Liferay Learn, to the upgrade section, you will see that, okay, covers everything, a lot of documentation. You can configure the document library in this way, in the other. You can also execute the upgrade tool, the startup, the Docker. You can and deploy modules. You can use commerce and use this script to upgrade commerce. Okay, but that is not useful for you. I mean, most of the cases execute upgrade just for the common case. You don't need to have a documentation where you have to skip 7 steps because you don't use that. So we have to focus on that common case. Our goal is to have one single page to execute that upgrade with a few steps, because it's really simple at the end, but people are worried because of this mix of information. And also for the configuration. I mean, we just need to ask you for the JDBC connection. Why we are asking you for a lot of things? So let's simplify everything for the common case, which is 90% of the cases, and focus, and maybe create separate articles for the rare cases, the corner cases, which are important, but we have to simplify the execution. And that's it. I think we can close the talk. I just want to say that it's like I want to see you the next Devcon, because this is like a commitment. I don't want to. I want to show you what we did, what we improved, because we just started, and that's my commitment with you to see if it's working better for you in the future. And just want to say thank you. As I have to say thank you especially for Luis Ortiz. He's a guy in my team that helped me a lot with the proof of concept. Yeah, thank you guys. And I think we have 2 minutes, so if you have any question, we can do it now.